Welcome students. So today I'm going to start a new topic which is called similarity transformation. And last class we have discussed about the stability when the system is represented in a state space form. Okay, so now this is a new topic, similarity transformation. Okay, so these are the outline of my discussion. So now as an introduction we can say that we have seen that given any differential equation, okay, we can represent or we can implement a differential equation in this state space representation, that is x dot equal to ax plus bu, y equal to cx plus du. So this is called state equation, this is called output equation. When we are discussing about the canonical form, at that time you have seen that if the differential equation is given, then how the differential equation can be represented in block diagram or wiring diagram or signal flow diagram, okay, such that from that differential equation we can represent the system in the form of x dot equal to ax plus bu, y equal to cx plus du. And the converse is also true, means if a system is represented in the form of this equation, we can also draw the wiring diagram or block diagram, or it is called signal flow diagram. Okay, and if you can remember, when we have drawn the block diagram representation, we have defined the state variable as the output of the integrators in that particular representation or implementation. Okay, and as we saw that at that time, a particular system or differential equation may have many different realization or representation. Why? Because we at that time we have observed that the states of the systems are not unique. Okay, if the same differential equation we have taken, but we found that the same differential equation can be represented in controller canonical form, can be represented in observer canonical form, can be represented in controllability canonical form, or observability canonical form, or maybe in diagonal form. Okay, so when we are using the states of a system, that is actually meaningless. One should say that states of a realization, because the system is fixed. Okay, system is fixed. For a fixed system we can have non-unique states, and if the states are going to differ, so definitely we can have different realization for a given system. So that we have understood very clearly from our previous discussion. Okay, now then what is similarity transformation? Okay, and after this we can say that we have seen that there are more than one implementation realization for a differential equation. Means if we have a simple or single differential equation which is unique, okay, but by changing the state variables, okay, state variables, we can have the different representation like controller canonical form, observer canonical form, controllability canonical form, observability canonical form, or diagonal canonical form, Jordan canonical form. Okay, so now the question is that suppose if any representation is given for a system, can we do something? Okay, can we do something such that we can create different realization out of that? Means what I want to mean that suppose any representation is given which is not suppose canonical, okay, which is not suppose canonical, so can we introduce any systematic approach such that for from that non-canonical representation we can transform that non-canonical representation to any one of these any one of these canonical representation. So that's why it is written that can we create or can we actually transform different realization for from a given one. Okay, so means if it is given in any non-canonical representation, so can we do something such that we can transform that non-canonical representation to one of the canonical representations. Now you can ask why it is required. Now, before that, I want to mention, so one way of doing this transformation is called similarity transformation. Okay, and why the phrase that similarity has come, that we are going to learn little bit later. Okay, so now one thing you just clearly set in your mind, that we have non-canonical representation. So now the question is, can we have, or can we create a canonical representation out of that? Can we find out some method or not? Okay, that one way of doing or the method is called similarity transformation. And next question is that why we want to do this this transformation from non-canonical to the canonical representation, because as I told you that there are different utilizations are there in this canonical forms. Okay, that we are going to explore definitely in the subsequent slides. Okay, then when we will design the controller, we can understand at that time why the controller canonical form is important, and while designing observer, at that time we can realize why observer canonical form is important to us. And also one very important thing we are going to learn, that if any realization is given, non-canonical realization is given, can we transform it to a diagonal form? Okay, and here one thing I want to mention, that though I am telling that non-canonical representation to any canonical representation, it can happen that if it is in a controller canonical form, can we transform it to the diagonal canonical form? Means in between the canonical representations also the transformation is possible if we know the similarity transformation method. Okay, directly, suppose if it is controller canonical form is given, if I know the method of similarity transformation, then directly I can transform it to the diagonal canonical form if certain conditions are met. Okay, so these are the things we are going to learn under this topic called similarity transformation. And why we want to do, now we want to get certain advantages if we able to represent any representation to a standard representation, that is called canonical representation. Okay, mainly here we are going to learn three standard representations, that is called how from any non-canonical representation, how can I transform to controller canonical form, how to transform it to the observer canonical form, and how to transform it diagonal canonical form, because these three canonical representations will be more important in future. Okay, so now to understand the similarity transformation, we have to recall the concept of basis and its representation. That's why I have written that is revisit basis and representation. This I have discussed when we have we have a discussion about the linear algebra. Okay, so can you remember the definition, who will qualify as a basis? I'm going to the things what I have sent already to you, that is what is the definition of basis, or who will qualify as a basis. Now suppose V comma F means a vector space V over the field F is a linear space, then a set of vectors B, that is b1 b2 bn. So these are the vector b1 b2 bn. Don't think that b1 b2 bn are the constants. So these are the vectors b1. So we have chosen a finite set of vectors b1 b2 bn from this vector space V. Okay, now this B is called a basis of V if b1 b2 bn spans V. What is the meaning of that? Any vector in vector space V can be represented as a linear combinations of b1 b2 bn, then we will call that b1 b2 bn spans V, and b1 b2 bn is a linearly independent set. And we also know what is the meaning of b1 b2 bn is a linearly independent set. Okay, so that we have already discussed. Another thing also we have discussed at that time, that coordinate representation. So now suppose x is a vector we have chosen from the vector space V. Now from the definition it is clear that this x can be represented as a linear combinations of the vector b1 b2 bn. Okay, so we have written x is equal to linear combination of these vectors b1 b2 bn. Okay, so it is I equal to 1 to n zeta I bi. So hence zeta I equal to zeta 1 to zeta n is called the coordinate vector of x with respect to the basis vector bi, and zeta i's are called the coordinates of the x with respect to bi. So this concept will be helpful now to understand the basics of similarity transformation. Okay, so now you see here I have written a set of linearly independent vectors in Rn. Now we are in a vector space V that we have chosen, that is Rn, real space, and with the dimension n, is called a basis if every vector in Rn can be expressed as a linear combination of the set. And suppose we have chosen such vectors are t1, t2, tn. Okay, so now t1, t2, tn, instead of here actually I have written the notation of the vectors b1 b2 bn, but here I have taken that one, the notation I have taken t1 t2 tn, means these are the vectors. Mind that t1 t2 tn, how the t1 will look like, the t1, how the t1 will look like. Suppose t1, mind that t1 is a vector, so t1 is a vector, column vector whose dimension is n cross 1, means n number of elements are there, means I can say that t11, so t1n. okay, n number of vectors are there. Okay, so don't be confused with the things like that Rn, any set of n linearly independent vectors can be used as a basis, and let t1 t2 tn be the subset. Okay, now from the definition it is clear that the vector x which is in the Rn, okay, x is in Rn, can be expressed uniquely as a linear combination of these vectors t1, that is t1 t2 tn, as a alpha 1 t1 alpha 2 t2 plus alpha n tn. So now the same thing we can write in a different way. If we will assume that we are constructing a capital T matrix by taking this column vectors t1 t2 tn. So if I will stack all these t1 t2 tn, means what I want to mean that we are constructing t, that is t1 t2 like tn. So each are column vector of n cross 1. It is also column vector of n cross 1. It is also n cross 1. So if we stack t1 t2 tn and we will construct the t, then the dimension of the t will be n by n. Okay, n cross n. So that is the concept. So now we have taken t is like this, and now you see this same expression x equal to alpha 1 t1 alpha 2 t2 plus alpha n tn. If you want to write with respect to this capital T, then we can write x equal to t into alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha n, and then alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha n we are representing by x bar. So now you try to see this x bar alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha n are the coordinates. Okay, and we are telling that x1 bar, that is alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha n transpose, means this vector alpha 1 alpha 2 alpha n, the representation of vector x with respect to the basis vector t. Okay, so x bar, the representation of vector x with respect to the basis vector t. So okay, so now the same thing we can write in this way, that is x bar is equal to t inverse of x. If it is x equal to t into x bar, then x bar equal to t inverse of x. Means what is the meaning of this x bar equal to t inverse of x? The question is whether t inverse will exist or not. Yes, T inverse will always exist. Why? Because this T1, T2, Tn are the basis vectors, means these vectors are linearly independent vectors. Okay, so when we are stacking this t1 t2 tn to construct the capital T, so these all t1 t2 tn column vectors are linearly independent, means this n by n matrix have rank, full rank, that is n. Okay, so it is always invertible. And what is the meaning of x bar equal to t inverse of x? Means now if we have a old representation, that is x, and if we multiply with that with t inverse, then we will get a new representation, that is x bar, that is representation of vector x with respect to basis vector. Now it is very much clear that if we will change this basis vector t, okay, that, or which is called transformation matrix, which is built with the basis vectors t1 t2 tn, if this t will change, means what is the meaning of t will change? If the basis vectors will change, so definitely the representation of x is going to be changed, that is actually x bar. So now the concept is that if we have the basis vectors, okay, and for a given given vector, then we can have a new representation of that x. Okay, so now we are going to understand this process by several examples, then it will be clear to you. So first, example 1. So you know that in Rn these are the obvious basis, which is called orthonormal basis, that is I1 is this, I2 is this, In minus 1 is this, and In is this. If you can remember that it is similar to like that. Suppose if we are in R2, okay, suppose if we are telling that we are in R2, so we are in R2 means we are living in a space which having two dimensional, and these having x1 and x2 are the components of the vector. Okay, so R2 represents, these are the components of the vectors. Now what are the orthogonal, sorry, that is called orthonormal basis of this R2? Now obvious will be, it will be 1 0 and 0 1. So these will be the orthonormal basis. Now it is extended for Rn. So each of the vectors will be with the dimension of n by 1. Okay, so that has been done here. So now now we can represent any vector x in Rn, okay, that having the component x1 x2 xn will be the linear combination of this all orthonormal basis, that is x1 into I1 plus x2 into I2, xn minus In minus 1 plus xn In, and this whole thing can be written in the form of equal to In into x1 x2 xn. How the In will look like? It is a n cross n unity matrix. Okay, all the diagonal elements will be 1. So now, and what is the interpretation of this thing, that x equal to In into x, means the representation of any vector x with respect to its orthonormal basis equals to itself. Means I told that x bar, the new representation, is related with the old representation by t inverse of x. Okay, so now t, if you choose t if you construct with the orthonormal basis, okay, by stacking the orthonormal basis of this space, then what will happen? You will, if you operate that t inverse with the x, you will get back x. Okay, so nothing is going to new, the old thing you are going to get back. Okay, so that's why, in other words, the representation of any vector x with respect to the orthonormal basis equals itself. You will get back the same vector x. Okay, now it will be more clear if we consider the example 2. Okay, in example 2, you see I have written A equal to 2 1 0 3. Okay, I have taken a matrix A and elements are 2 2 2 1 0 3. Now what is the representation of A with respect to the basis vector v1 equal to 1 0 and v2 equal to 0.7 0.7. Now what I want to represent this A matrix with the basis vector v1 and v2. Okay, and for that you have to follow this process. What is that process? Now for the step 1, you have to calculate when A is acting on V1, then how it will be, or what is the result. So A V1 will be 20 and A V2 will be 2.1, 2.1. Now second step will be express AV1 and AV2 in terms of the basis V1 and V2. Okay, so we are trying to write 20 in terms of V1 and V2. So easily it can be written 2 into V1 plus 0 into V2. Then we are getting the AV1, and 0 into V1 plus 3 into V2, we can write 2.1, 2.1. Now we are trying to write this equation in the following way. So it is 2003. So now we can write V1, V2. So these are the V1, V2 are the basis vectors. So that we can mark as a T. And now 2003, that is actually the new representation. A bar is equal to 20, 2.1, 2.1. How 20 has come? Now if how the 20 has come, 20 if you operate A on V1, and how the 2.1 and 2.1 has come when the A is operated on V2. So now we can write actually A is going to operate on this V1 and V2 vector, that is capital T. So now T A bar is equal to A into T. So now we can write A bar will be T inverse AT. Okay, means if we do this operation on the old vector A, and how this T has been constructed, T is the basis vector V1 and V2, and if we operate T inverse AT, then we are going to get the new representation of A, that is A bar with the basis vector V1 and V2. And most interestingly, you see this A bar is diagonal 2 3. Okay, 2 3 are the diagonal elements, and you will be surprised if you calculate the eigenvalues of 2 1 0 3. They will be 2 3. Okay, they will be 2 3, and the V1 and V2, whatever it is chosen here, they are the corresponding eigenvalues, corresponding eigenvectors of the eigenvalues. Means this 1 0 is the eigenvector of the eigenvalue 2, and this 0.7 is the eigenvector of 3. So that's why in fact in this example it can be verified that V1 and V2 are the eigenvectors of A, and 2 3 are the corresponding eigenvalues. So now here actually I have given a hint, if any. So it is, you see, it is not in any canonical representation A is represented, but now we have introduced a process by which we can represent this A in a new form, A bar, which is in diagonal. And also here I have given a hint how to construct this T matrix. T is the nothing, they are constructed the corresponding eigenvectors, okay, V1 and V2. They form the basis vectors for this A, and that's why we got the A bar in the diagonal form. So these things I will discuss in details later on when I will specifically discuss the diagonalization process. Means if any form, if it is given, is it possible to transform that any form to a diagonal form or not. Okay, then example 3 we are considering. Suppose we have a matrix, same matrix 2 1 0 3. Okay, so the same matrix we have taken 2 1 0 3. Okay, now I have given a vectors, that is B and AB. Okay, B is defined 1 3, and that's why AB will be A. If you multiply with B, AB will be 5 and 9. Now if you choose this B and AB as the basis vector, okay, B and AB, and it has been asked that can you represent this A with this basis vector BAB, means B is taken as a basis vector V1 and another AB has been taken V2. The same process we will utilize. We will find AV1, that is 5 9, AV2 19 27, and next step what we will do, we will try to write AV1 and AV2 in terms of this V1 and V2. So we are finding that is 0 into V1 plus 1 into V2 is 5 9, and minus 6 into V1 plus 5 into V2 is 19 27. And if we want to write this one in a similar way what we have written earlier. So it is v1 v2, this is our we can think that this is our transformation matrix, and now 0 minus 6 1 5, this is our a bar, and this 5 9 19 20 27, how you are finding now when the a is acting on v1 and v2. So we can write that T a bar is equal to AT, means a bar equal to T inverse AT. And how the a bar is look like? Now 0 1 minus 6 5, and you can recognize this is actually observer canonical form. So now you are finding that if we choose a T matrix properly, then any representation can be transformed to a observer canonical form, and here the T matrix is called the controllability matrix. Controllability matrix about means BAB are the BAB. If you take that as a T matrix, it is called the about this controllability matrix I will discuss later on. Okay, but why these examples are given, these are the motivation that we are finding that if we choose the basis vectors properly, and then we can represent any vector, means this A we can means this matrix is also a vector, can be represented in a different form which is desired to us, and this process is called the similarity transformation. But you see, these are the specific example I have given, but how we can generalize this idea, now we have to discuss about the generalization of this idea of similarity transformation. So suppose we have the n-dimensional realization x dot equal to ax plus bu, y equal to cx. Okay, now if we want to transform the system in new coordinate, okay, then we have to actually search a T matrix, means which is called the transformation matrix, whose dimension will be n by n, and which will be real, obviously real matrix, all the elements of the T matrix will be real. And another property of the T matrix, it must be non-singular. What is the meaning of non-singular? Non-singular means determinant of T will be not equal to 0, or T will be full rank, T will be invertible, or we can say that T inverse exists. Okay, so if a n-dimensional realization is given, and if you want to transform this system in new coordinate, then first thing is that you have to construct a transformation matrix T, and once this T matrix is chosen, then your new state variable x bar will be related with the old one by this relation 10, that is x bar t will be T inverse of xt. So now if you choose the new state variable x bar t, which is related with the old one xt like this, then how the state equation will look like? That this is the old state equation. Now in this new coordinate, how this state equation will look like? Now it will be x bar of t, means if we differentiate this equation 10, then what I'll get, the x dot of x bar dot t is equal to T inverse xt, because T inverse is a constant matrix, so it will come out. And what is your x dot t? Now from equation 8 we can substitute, so it will be T inverse ax plus bu. And now I will expand it, so it will be T inverse ax plus T inverse b into u. So now you see here x variable is there, but it is in x bar. So now again we will write x bar in the form, so x bar is means from here x will be replaced by x bar. How? Now x will be T into xt. So now you see we have written T, your xt is T into x bar t, so I have substituted that one, so T inverse at into x bar plus T inverse b into u. Now this will be our new A matrix, and this will be our new B matrix. So that's why A bar we will write T inverse AT, and B bar will be T inverse B. And similarly for the output equation, if I will substitute x, that is T into x bar t, so now C will be replaced by C into T x bar t. Okay, so the output equation y equal to C bar into x. So this will be the new representation with the new coordinate for the given system, this. Okay, and here the most interesting thing is that if you choose the suitable T matrix, then the A bar can be formed with different canonical representation like controller canonical. So if you choose a particular T, and now next topic will be how to choose this T to convert any non-canonical realization to the canonical one. Okay, so now if we choose a suitable T, then we can represent the old representation to a new representation with the x bar dot equal to a bar x plus b bar u. Sorry, here it will be x bar. Okay, I have done a mistake. Here it will be x bar and y will be c bar into x bar. So this will be bar. Okay, so this is my mistake. Okay, c bar x bar. Fine. So now can you see that in between this old representation and new representation, what is not going to be changed? Means, you see, the old representation was what? The old representation was, so here old representation was x dot is equal to ax plus bu. Okay, and y equal to cx, and new representation you will find that x bar dot is equal to a bar x bar plus b bar u, and y equal to c into x bar. In my slide I forgot to do it is x bar, and so now you see this is the old and this is the new. So in between this old and new, you see the input and output is same, they are not going to change. Okay, so with this observation we can conclude certain thing. What is that? Now note that y and u remain the same, but they are connected through a new wiring diagram because the a bar, b bar and c bar has been changed. Okay, so this realization is similar to the original realization. We are not disturbing the input output of the system, only the looks of the system has been changed. Okay, and this realization is similar to the original realization, and the transformation is called similarity transformation. Okay, in my class already I told you that system is going to be same, only we are representing the system in a different form, because you know that we are the human being, and we are wearing different dress to attend different program. Okay, so when we are attending marriage, our dress code is different, and when we are going to attend some other ceremony, our dress code is different. But we as a human being are not going to change, only to fit with the situation we are changing our representation. Similarly, like that, we have the old system, only we are changing the coordinate of the system to have a new look, such that we can get some advantages. So definitely I will tell you when what kind of advantages we are going to get. Okay, now that's why I am telling you that invariance of the transfer function under similarity transformation means what I want to mean that in between this old representation 8 and 9 and 12 and 13, if you derive the transfer function or the differential equation, actually they are going to give you the same differential equation, because under the similarity transformation, the transfer function as well as the eigenvalues or the differential equation are not going to change, they are same. Okay, because for a same system we are representing it in a different form, and this is the way we can prove that one. Suppose we have g bar of s, the new representation is c bar si minus a bar inverse into b bar. Okay, so what is c bar? Now c into t, si minus what is a bar, t inverse at, then whole inverse, and what is b bar? T inverse b, and this I can be written t inverse t. Okay, and in the next step we can write c into the same, this under bracket we can write t inverse si minus a into t, we have rearranged it, okay, into inverse t inverse of b, and then we have removed this bracket. So c into t inverse si minus a inverse t into t inverse into b. So t into t inverse is I. So definitely we can write c into si minus a inverse into b is equal to gs. Means the transfer function, if you derive from this new representation, is same as the old one. So hence the transfer function remains same or invariant under similarity transformation. And also it can be shown that eigenvalues of the G bar of S and G means eigenvalues of 12, 13 and 8, 9 will be same. Okay, and also the differential equation, if you find out, okay, that also will be same for this two representation. The new realization still represent the same system. That thing you have to understand. So now I will stop here because now I will summarize what we have learned. Means what is our intention? Intention is that mainly the intention is that suppose if you have any non-canonical representation, is there any method by which we can transform that non-canonical representation to the canonical representation directly, and that can be done using similarity transformation approach. And similarity transformation is nothing, we have understood that actually if I want to do the similarity transformation, means if we want to represent any system in the new coordinate, then we have to choose a transformation matrix T, and that transformation matrix T actually we can construct. That is actually when we are constructing the T matrix, actually we are changing the basis of the vector. If we change the basis vector, then the representation of the vector is going to be changed. That is the hidden fact of the similarity transformation. Okay, and after that we have understood that any system is given x dot equal to ax plus bu y equal to cx, then with the similarity transformation matrix T, how can I represent that one in a new form, that is x bar equal to a bar x bar plus b bar u, y equal to c bar x bar, and this a bar will be T inverse AT. So that is the relation between the new representation and the old system matrix. Okay, means the new system matrix and the old system matrix, and this is the relation b bar equal to T inverse b. That is the relation between new input matrix and the old input matrix, and c bar equal to ct. So this is the relation between the new output matrix to the old output matrix. Okay, and also we have understood that when we are going to do the similarity transformation, then the transfer function as well as the eigenvalues will be invariant. They are not going to change, because actually these are this transfer function as well as the similarity, the eigenvalues are the core properties of the system. They are not going to change when you are going to change the similarity when you are doing the similarity transformation. Means only their look is going to change. Okay, so in the next class what we will do, we will try to understand that if any non-canonical realization is given, then how to transform that one to the diagonal representation, and to how to represent it controller canonical form, and how to represent it observer canonical form. Means the next class I am going to discuss mainly if a non-canonical realization is given, how to transform that one to a diagonal realization, because this process is called diagonalization. Once we will represent any system or able to represent any system in a diagonal form, many information can be extracted from the diagonal representation of a given system. So that we are going to discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.